Hey, hey. I get tickled. I watch back my videos as I'm editing, and it seems like I say, hey, hey, every single time. I don't know. It's just what comes out of my mouth when I turn on the tape. So maybe I'll just say it every time. It's the only thing I can think of. Let me show you how to make an easy caramel pie. It's delicious, and it's easy. It's not quick, okay? You're gonna have to baby it a little bit, but it's super easy. And let me show you how. You may have heard of taking a can of condensed milk and boiling it, and that's what I've done. So this morning I was gonna be puttering around the kitchen. So I got a really big stock pot. See, it's a good size. I know you can't see it. So I got a good size pot that I filled with water, and I started with hot water just so it doesn't take as long to boil. So I started with that, then I peeled the paper off 2 cans of condensed milk, dropped it in the pot, turned it on, set my timer on my watch for about 3.5 hours, and the cans just boiled. So inside these cans of condensed milk is caramel. Now, be careful with this. So once I finished and I turned my water off, I just used my tongs and reached in and pulled the cans out and set them on a plate to cool. So they've been cooling for several hours because you don't want to open this. Trust me, you will have hot boiling caramel and a big safety issue. This has got to be really cool before you start messing with it, okay? So that is what is starting the caramel. Then you can make a graham cracker pie crust. I just grabbed one at the store this morning. This is a really small one. They were out of the big size, I guess because I waited till the last minute to go grab something. So this is a tiny little pie shell. So I wasn't sure if I needed 1 or 2 cans of caramel. So that's why I went ahead and boiled both of my cans. Now, you could just open that can of caramel, pour in that pie crust, and spread some Cool Whip on top, and you would have a good caramel pie. However, I like to go a little extra. This is a block of cream cheese that I've had softened, and I put half of it in here. We're just gonna make it a little bit, we're gonna make that Cool Whip a little bit better in there, and I'm gonna sweeten. This is about 1/4 cup of powdered sugar I'm gonna start with. Beat that up and just see how it tastes. You put cream cheese in Cool Whip, oh, so good. You can put cream cheese in anything, it makes it good. Okay, all I did was blend that in. Now I'm gonna beat this Cool Whip in there. See how adding just a little bit of cream cheese and powdered sugar and vanilla just takes your Cool Whip to a whole nother level, and it's easy. Mix it all up. Let's taste it. Very, very good. Now, another thing that I really like to do is sprinkle some roasted pecans in the bottom of this pie crust before we pour our caramel in. This morning, I roasted up a whole bunch of pecans, put them in a Ziploc, and I stick those in my freezer. That way, every time I'm cooking, I'm not roasting pecans every time. It just cuts down a step. While you're doing it, you may as well roast up a bunch. You know, Sunday we had Thanksgiving with my mother at my mom's house, and we ate so much good food. And then that night, I felt terrible. And because I had just eaten bad. I promise, despite all these videos, we don't eat like this all the time. But I'm showing you all some good recipes, and I'm a country girl, so a lot of the things I cook are not the most healthy. But I felt so terrible after we ate at Mama's, and the next day I got out and walked, got in some exercise, and I started thinking about how closely connected, I'm speaking for me, how closely connected my spiritual, physical, as well as my mental self is. It's so intertwined. When one gets out of balance, it just throws the whole person off. Or that's what I find in myself. If I'm not spiritually connected with Christ, if I'm not doing something to move every day, then mentally I'm just not as good a version of April as I know I can be. So I'm trying to, I've always been a yo-yo dieter, a yo-yo exerciser, where I know what makes me feel better, but I don't always do it. As we're approaching the holidays, so I'm telling you that to say, you're gonna eat bad, you're gonna eat this caramel pie, you're gonna feel terrible the next morning, get up and just, you know, do something to be healthier, move a little. It doesn't have to be, people tend to think, oh, I have to be aggressive, I have to go to the gym. I just go out there and walk, okay? I go out to Roosevelt State Park and I walk, and I just feel better. I can tend to get depressed easy, and I'm just better when I do that. So I challenge you. Okay, back to here. So I put some roasted pecans in here. Now you are about to see the goodness of boiling a can of condensed milk. Okay, look what has happened. Condensed milk. You just thought condensed milk was good before, so good now. So I'm going straight on to my pie shell. Yeah, just try not to think of that as a whole can of condensed milk. I feel so guilty showing you all these delicious things. It is gonna take 2. So I'm just gonna spread this into this pie shell. Talk about easy again. Oh, forgot to tell you, that big stock pot, the reason I put it in a big old stock pot like that is so that I don't have to refill the water as much. If you start out, trust me, the first time I did this, I had just a short pan. I covered my cans with water. Well, crazy me, when water boils, what happens? It evaporates. So I was constantly refilling with water. So I discovered if I go with a big stock pot, I don't have to fill it as much. So, but keep a watch on it throughout the day. It's got to be a day where you're just hanging out at the house. Keep a close watch on it and add water as you need to. Let me tell you something else that's good. Heath toffee bit to stir in. Just, I've got a little handful. I don't want and a half. And I'm gonna stir it in that Cool Whip and spread on top. I love the crunch of pecans, the crunch of toffee. I almost like different textures. I love something that's crunchy. All right, then we're gonna just spread this on top of our 2 cans of condensed milk. And that's it. And go into the refrigerator. You can't serve this right away. You need to do it the day before. Go into the fridge, because it needs to set up. I mean, I've never tried it. Now, I've been places that do this, and this is the way they do their caramel pies, and they've tried to serve them too quickly, and the caramel just runs out on your plate. So I would recommend overnight into the fridge. Caramel pie like you hadn't had it. If you've had this kind of caramel pie, but you hadn't had these little extra steps like the pecans, the cream cheese, the toffee pieces, it really makes it good. Hope you try it. It's delicious. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.